it was just chaos. We literally walked into a drug deal, and instead of the loaded extended mag Glock that was on the bed, he grabbed the drugs.
You are listening to the Go Earn Your Salt podcast, brought to you by Salt Electrolytes. On this podcast, your host Riley Rogers, that's me, explores the stories of people who get after it, get things done, and earn their salt. You will hear from high achievers who discuss what makes them tick, how they got to where they are today, and where they are headed tomorrow. Perhaps this podcast will help you go earn your salt.
Hit me.
Okay, today we have my good friend Makayla Martinez on our podcast. I'm gonna have Makayla on here because she is one of the most driven people that I know. She has this goal right now to do an athletic type event, either half marathon, triathlon, that sort of thing, in all 50 states. And how deep are you into that goal?
I have hit 24 states so far.
So far, that is super cool. So
Yeah.
a little bit of background on this. I've known Makayla since she was, gosh, I want to say 7 years old. And the whole time she's had these big dreams of what she wanted to do as an adult. And we're going to discuss some of those things that have taken place over the years. So Makayla, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm so glad to see you. So take me back to childhood times, because I remember when you were real young, you were really wanting to get into firefighting,
Mhm.
but that's changed a bit. And so I want to guide us through that story, like what originally got you interested in that, and then what took place to change that direction.
Yeah, so I don't even remember, couldn't even remember what age I was when I wanted to get into firefighting, but it was young. I know I did like a ride along when I was like 16 with a station here in Boise. Um, and it just has always been a goal of mine. I love that they like lay down their lives for the community. They support the community. They just are super cool people, and just the constant I don't know if workout's the right word, but just the constant, it's a lifestyle of health that they have. And so that was super cool to me, but then also giving back to the community and helping other people, I guess you could say. Um, so wanted to do that, did ride-alongs, and then um, something, it's not even that cool, but I watched a TV show about this deaf girl who worked for the FBI. And so she could read lips and learn sign language and um, read lip, and she could speak too. And she helped the FBI, true story, helped the FBI like do surveillance back when they couldn't get audio. And so she would read the lips of the bad guys and then um, tell them like, hey, they're actually meeting up later today at McDonald's or whatever. And so
Oh, super
I
cool.
was like, first of all, criminal justice, cool, and also sign language, awesome. And then that was probably like early 20s. So I went to college for criminal justice, and then I got my sign language degree, and then got a job working in criminal justice. And my goal was to do that through college because it was a flexible work schedule, and then transfer over to firefighting, take my knowledge and experience of what I've learned with criminal justice to the firefighter side of it. And the more I worked in criminal justice, the more fire would respond to things that I dealt with and stuff. And so learned stories. I got my EMT certification. I talked to my boss to see if I could get time off because my work schedule was so flexible. I was like, maybe do fire and work. But I did a women's firefighter weekend. It was so cool, just a little glimpse into firefighting, and realized I get claustrophobic. That was a fun thing to
Oh,
learn. So that was like, okay, so maybe, but then also hearing the
so
stories of my, Yeah.
So I'm curious, claustrophobic, was it the mask and the equipment? Is
Yeah.
that what,
Yeah. I could handle
not to mention
the
crawling through tight spaces, huh?
correct. Correct. Yeah. I was like, oh, red flag. I knew if I wanted to, because I'm stubborn enough, I probably could get over it, but it would take a lot of probably hyperventilating. um,
Yeah.
and then hearing stories from my EMT instructor about little babies and the kiddos that make the job hard. And I love kids so much. And that is the hardest part of my criminal justice job. And so I know that it would be hard for me to, I don't know if I could mentally give myself to becoming a firefighter
And you're
as far as
talking
that
about
goes.
the tragedy that happens with children.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yep. So,
Yeah, I think I've got a friend who, for those of you who don't know, my son is a firefighter, and he's at the time of this recording just a week in, and we've had that conversation at length about, with some other buddies I know that are firefighters, and yeah, they've come to me on occasion just going, man, it was a hard week, and this is what I dealt with, and yeah, sometimes it involves children, and so there's some scary stuff in there. So with my son, preparing him for that as much as I can, saying, hey man, you're going to see some stuff and you need to be prepared for that. It's a big
hmm
deal.
it's also like having, because I've dealt with some kiddo stuff with my current job and stuff, and just how to deal, I guess, with it. And exercise is one of the things that helps me.
Just so everybody knows, I don't want to fly by it. What are you doing now exactly?
So I work for felony probation and parole. I work with adults who either get out of prison or adults who get felonies and are placed on probation.
Okay. So I imagine, yeah, you get to see some stuff with kids there too, huh?
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah. I always appreciate law enforcement and how I think we forget sometimes as society just how much you guys shield us from the dark side of what happens out there.
It is interesting, like going into Winco or whatever, and the firefighters pull up and everybody's like, gosh, we love you. And they're like, here's a sticker. We're gonna go get our milk and steaks for dinner, as I'm like, I literally just got cussed out for 2 hours while the guy is sitting in cuffs on the couch. It just is like, okay. But then also,
Dude.
yeah, just maybe not shielding, but just there's a lot behind the scenes, I guess you could say.
No, there's a lot of stuff that happens that you just don't see, and it's because you guys are out there taking care of it before the rest of us have to deal with it, that we don't, right? We
Yeah.
forget that it even happens sometimes. And I did a ride along with a cop friend of mine that we did the graveyard shift a couple times, and it was pretty eye-opening, some of the stuff that he'd go, oh yeah, this is going on over here, there's this guy we've been looking for, and he's usually in this spot, and then we pull in there, and sure enough, there's the dude like breaking into a car.
You're like,
Take care of
oh,
that problem. And but
how about
yeah,
that?
it's wild. And then the guy who routinely beats his wife, and they get that call. um it's crazy stuff. Yeah.
It's hard stuff. Yeah. Oh well.
Talk about your life growing up, and where did you grow up? Talk to the audience about that.
So grew up, was born in Missouri, moved here when I was 6 for my dad to get his master's at Boise State. And then all of our family lived in Missouri. So mom's like, I miss my family. We're going back. So we all packed up after dad got his master's, and we lived in Missouri for about 6 months before mom was like, yeah, I hate it here. Let's just go back to Idaho. People are friendly, love the desert. So packed up again 6 months later, grabbed another U-Haul, packed three of my siblings, and moved back to Idaho, where I've been since then, and grew up in Boise, downtown Boise. Beautiful trees, hills. Hills were the backyard. It was perfect, and I'm still
Yeah, the
here.
Boise foothills are legend, aren't they? The sign language thing you had mentioned earlier, are you still doing anything with that?
So I had a few deaf people that I was supervising for work, and that was super cool until I no longer had to supervise them. And so since then, not really, besides conversation with some of my friends or something beyond that. I was gonna do, I wanted to do legal interpreting, but to do that, you need a special certification and you need to be signing all the time. And I just didn't make that work. I didn't make it a priority to make that work. So,
Okay, so fun question. Sometimes you see at these on televised events these sign language people who make weird faces when they do it. And is that something that why are they doing that?
like voice inflexation, where you're like, oh, this is funny, so my voice is higher, or this is really serious, so my voice is lower. Facial expressions is pretty much the voice inflexation, where you're like, oh my gosh, this is hilarious,
Well, that's what
or
it looks like. Is yeah, it looks like they're having a seizure, not like they're.
yeah. Yep, exactly that. Yeah. It just adds punctuation and adds emphasis, I guess you could say, to just the normal sign language. Yeah. To the
Oh,
normal hands flying, it adds better communication, I guess you could say.
yeah, okay. Well, I'll take your word for that. I'm not sure that I've seen it where it makes the communication better. It makes it more entertaining.
That is definitely true. Very definitely true. Yes.
I feel like entertaining from a like easy to make fun of standpoint.
Yep. Growing up, my mom was like, Makayla, you were just always so like dramatic. And she's like, so I'm not surprised you went into sign language because it just highlighted just how perfect your dramaticness was.
So she's making fun of it a little bit too while she's saying
Correct.
that, isn't she?
Correct.
I love
Yes.
it. I
Yes.
love it.
Yes.
I love it. Okay, so moving forward, you mentioned the foothills, and you guys live down in the trees of downtown Boise, which, for those of you who don't know, Boise, Les Bois means tree, I believe in French. The it's the city of trees. That's what they call it, and yeah, that downtown area especially is just it's beautiful, green all the time, and um, but you living down there as you grew up, your parents and myself and my wife and some other couples from our church would all get together and go run, and you were part of that a lot of times.
It was actually like one of my favorite childhood memories is I love kids still to this day, but yeah, mom and dad would have friends over and they'd drop off their kids. I'd watch them, and then they'd go for their long runs on the green belt. And then my favorite part was taking all the kiddos right outside to the parking lot and then cheering on the parents that were running back home. And so that's what I grew up with, was the weird smell that they came back with after their long run, and the cool kids that I got to watch while doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, you remember the smell of the parents and the sweat sickles. Do you remember the sweat sickles?
Yes. Yep. Yep. Just like yesterday. I was like,
I
how
have a
does that even happen?
well, I have a photo of me with like these 3 inch long like sweat stalactites that are coming off my neck.
So
The
funny.
wintertime runs.
I was like,
Yeah, it's
is
kind
that
of.
even like possible biologically? I don't know.
Well, I
Yeah.
thought maybe, in hindsight, I should have just ate those like a popsicle. I could have got my electrolytes back.
I don't know why. Yeah. Boy, oh boy. Just stick them in your water, get some ice water.
There you go. Just like,
Yeah.
yeah. Ugh.
Oh, a little recycle.
Oh my gosh. Um, so what did that translate into in adulthood? So now you've got this goal. Makayla has a goal now of doing an athletic event in all 50 states. You said earlier you're 24
It's
into
24
that.
states in. Yep.
Okay. Now, talk to us about that. Tell us what that involves.
Yeah. So, my states or the,
Well, just as far as like what when you say athletic events, what are you referring to?
sure. So I've done quite a few different ones. normal half marathons. I've done trail runs, like flat half marathons, I guess you would say. Um, the one in Arizona was like through cacti and half flat rolling hill type. It was actually kind of cool. Don't touch them, they hurt. And then I've done a lot of obstacle races, like Spartan obstacle races. I love doing that with my sister. She's really cool, a good running buddy. It keeps me accountable. But a lot of different Spartan race ones. If they had a Spartan race in every single state, I would 100% just do Spartans across the board. Um, but in Massachusetts, they don't really, there's not a lot of populace there that would participate in a Spartan race. So, um, Spartan races, obstacle course races, yeah. I've done this last July. I didn't do any half marathons. I did 5Ks and 10Ks because I condensed it into 3 days. I did a race in every. I went east. And then hit like, what did I hit? I hit four of the tiny little states that are around and drivable between races, and so I hit four races in 3 days and figured out
Oh,
and like New Hampshire, I think was one of them. New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and I can't remember the other one. But I like condensed them all, hit them all on a weekend, and so I gave my knees a break by doing just 5Ks and 10Ks in that weekend instead of halves.
that's incredible. I want to hear well, for one, what is the longest race you've done? The one that was the hardest, and then I want you to talk about kind of what it takes to prepare for all these things because you're dealing with a lot there, right? You're dealing with one, just physical conditioning,
Mhm.
and then two, travels for real, right? You're having to finance that and having to, people forget about that part. It always sounds cool to go, oh, hey, let's do a race in all 50 states. Well, that involves some time and some money. So talk about that.
Yeah. So I think I set this goal, I think, without really thinking it through of the different things that it would entail. And so I was like, oh, dude, 50 states, that sounds great. I've already hit like a few surrounding Idaho. Might as well just do all 50. And then like a year and a half afterwards, I was like, oh, wow, okay, we're going to apply this to the budget. We're going to figure out if I can hit four races in a weekend so I don't have to keep coming like all the way back and all the way back. And so, um, yeah, the finance part of it is definitely a real thing.
Hey, business owners, I want to talk to you for a second. Do you have a retail space or a pro shop inside your business? If so, I want you to know something. Your customers are buying electrolyte supplements. The problem is they're not buying them from you. Salty Electrolytes can help with that with their wholesale program. They can bring those sales to you in-house so your customers get the electrolytes they deserve from the company they love most. All you have to do is head over to goearnyourSalt.com, scroll to the bottom of the page, and click on the link that says Apply for Wholesale. Or it's possible that there's a link in the description of this podcast. And now, my friends, go earn your salt.
And then, yeah, budgeting for that, or just like how many can I hit this year? Because I want to hit all 50 before I'm 30. And so I've got 24 and I'm 27 years old. So I got 3 more years to hit 26 states. And so it's like, how many can I hit, And I don't know, just the whole finance part of it is definitely a real thing.
Yeah, 26 more states in 3 years. That's a severe budget item for real.
Yes, 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 yes. Definitely a priority. But then like we went to Hawaii last year and I was like, fun, we're gonna be there for a week, half vacation, half running, and uh everything is expensive, extremely expensive over there. So it's like, well, I should have maybe prepared more for that one, but then, you know, the race in I don't remember where, but it was like, oh, this is nice. Oh, it was in Missouri with family. I stayed with family. They provided my meals. I was like, huh. could get used to this. Um,
Yeah.
so just different things for different states for sure. And then I definitely forgot the first two questions you asked.
Well, actually, I've got one more before I ask before
Yeah.
I repeat that. But do you find people that you sort of know, like friends of friends, maybe to stay with when you're out in those places?
I really, really try. The race in Arizona, I have a cousin out there that he was gracious enough to let me stay with him and his wife, and then they actually drove me 2.5 hours to the race site at like 4 in the morning so I could get there. And they volunteered for the race too, and so that was cool and nice, and definitely helped with budgeting. Um, or I'll try and invite friends with me. The race I did in California, there was four of us that went, and so we just split the cost of the Airbnb that we got, and of course airfare was on our own and stuff. But we split like the rental car and stuff, so that helps a lot. But then we went east, the race I did in Rhode Island, we were there for like a family reunion, and so we had like a beach house out there that I stayed in while doing all those. So yeah, I definitely try and find people that I know. Um, but I'm headed east again and like New York area, and it's like I don't got nobody there, so yeah,
Ain't got nobody.
ain't got nobody. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I
Do you
try. That is definitely yes, I definitely try, but sometimes it doesn't work out.
do you ever get any kickback with uh, folks questioning the whether or not you should be doing something like that? Do you ever get those naysayers that want to cut down the goal?
Not the goal per se, just maybe my way of doing it of like when I go, I'll be in the East for almost 3 weeks and I'm hitting races every weekend while I'm there. And I was like, I could just live out of the rental car during the week so I'm not paying for. And they're like, that's a terrible, don't do that, get a hotel, all this stuff. So it's not necessarily the goal itself. Some people's eyebrows hit their hair when they're like, oh, yeah, you're crazy. You're crazy. But there's no like, don't do that, which is cool, but
That is super interesting because you're bringing me to this the understanding here that goals are not always they're not always pretty, right? There's always these behind the scenes kind of I wouldn't call it yucky, but it's kind of yucky. It's like there's this, yeah, do you sleep in your car? Do you, there's logistics that have to happen here that
yeah.
make all these things.
Yep.
We always watch like the Iron Man videos of CNN puts or whatever, the sports channel, and yeah, it always looks amazing. It looks like everything's the glory part of it, but man,
Hmm. Yep.
it's not
Yep.
all glory.
It's not all. Nope. Nope. Sometimes I fly in like Friday night. There's race day packet pickups. So Saturday morning, I fly in at what, 10? One time my flight was delayed, so I didn't get to the hotel at like until I think it was like 12:30, and I was up at 7 for the race to get to there at time, to get packet pickup and situated. And so it's like definitely not pretty. Definitely my eyes look like raccoons, and just yeah, the behind the scenes that's a little not as pretty.
It's not as pretty. Yeah. What's your have you ever gotten sick before a race?
That is literally, I get like anxiety that I'm gonna get sick before the race, and so I'm like, am I actually getting sick? But no, not yet. Actually, never. So I
Oh,
hope
that's
not.
good.
Yeah, hope not.
That's good. I hear that all the time with people who compete in different sports, jiu-jitsu guys and stuff that and they'll with the flu the night before and then they're trying to decide whether or not to push through the event, but they've already put out the plane tickets and the travel and the, all that prep time and
Yep.
yeah,
That's one of
it's a
my,
big
yeah,
dilemma.
like really, maybe anxiety is not the word, but just I'm like, oh, like I just spent $400 on this plane ticket and I have everything lined out, a hotel if I'm staying out with family or whatever, but it's like, please, please don't get sick. I'm like down in the vitamins. Like, we're good. We're okay, Makayla. Yeah. and stuff like that.
Well, you have to kind of watch that too, right? Because if you start taking a new vitamin or supplement just
Yeah,
before the race, it could screw your stomach up too, right?
correct, correct, correct. And then it's like, am I getting sick? Oh wait, no, it's just vitamins.
Yeah, it's just vitamins. Took too much magnesium.
Yeah.
That's So what race has been the biggest challenge so far?
Oh, the most challenging race. Let me think. I'd say the most prep work that I've done for a race. The race itself was not like, oh, but I did three in Seattle a few years ago. It was a Spartan race, and I did the trifecta weekend. So I did
Ooh, tell
the
tell
half
everybody what that is, because that's a big deal.
the trifecta week. Yeah, the half marathon was on Saturday, with all the obstacles and stuff. And they're Spartan miles, and so I think I ended up running almost 16 miles, just because they, yeah. Anyways, so that was on Saturday, and then Sunday morning was the 10K Spartan miles again, and then Sunday afternoon was the 5K. So you do all three races in one weekend.
What
That
are those
one,
races titled? They have creative names to them. What are they?
yeah. So the half marathon is a beast, the 10K is a super, and the 5K is a sprint. So I did the super, sprint, and beast all in one weekend, and there was a lot of prep that went into that one. Luckily, my siblings loved to go collect ice, and so I took a very, very cold ice bath Saturday night after the race, and then prepped, I guess, enough for Sunday. And so it wasn't, my legs definitely hurt, but luckily they're like the elevation gain wasn't insane, and it was mostly flat-ish for the majority of the race. So I would say it was the hardest, but it wasn't like I wasn't like I am now dead. Actually, now I'm thinking about it, the one me and my sister did in Georgia, that was hard. It was February or March. We fly in to Atlanta. I think it was the night before, and it was raining, sleet, cold. And we look, and temperature's the same for race morning, raining, sleet, cold. And we decided to do like the competitive group for it. And so we got there. Our race was like one of the first that started, and woke up. We actually ended up buying like $100 long sleeves at the race site because we were like, this isn't gonna work. People were hyperventilating on the race and getting taken out, and it was hard. It was a hard race. My sister got stress fractures in her feet because it was so cold and the repetitive running for it. It
Oh,
was
she just
that one
wasn't
was
warm.
a yeah, that was just a hiking through, the creeks and stuff for it, constantly wet and muddy, and now you have to climb this metal pole. It's just like
Oh,
it
shoot.
was just cold. It was just cold and miserable, and so many bruises because I couldn't, like, the dexterity of my hands and stuff. It was just cold and miserable and hard. That was the hardest race by far, I think. Yes.
Yeah, I don't think people understand when you're talking about like the southern US down in that humid zone down there, what cold feels like there. It gets colder temperature wise up here in Idaho than it does down there generally, but it's not the same. That
It's not
humid
the
just
same.
goes through you.
Different cold. Yes.
I can imagine it's got to be similar to that, like up in Massachusetts and stuff, where they have that high humidity, but they're further
Oh
north,
my
right?
word.
So it's
Correct.
I, winter there's got to be tough.
Yeah. We went, well, yeah, I raced in July, but a hurricane had just come through, and so it was like ultra humid. And here in Idaho, it's desert, so like I didn't even know how to train for humidity, so I just ran in the middle of the day, to try and get the heat. But it was like I step out of the car and I'm drenched. So
Yeah.
electrolytes definitely were happening on that trip every single time after the race, but it was like, oh my word, just different, just different. Just I didn't know how to train for it, and it was just
Yeah, well,
different,
that's
man.
another thing that I guess I didn't even think about until you just said that is when you're training in all 50 states, every one of these races has a different environment you have to deal with, right? What's the highest altitude you've raced at?
That's a good question. I think it was the one in California, Big Bear, California, and then we climbed a ski slope, the Spartan race that we did.
Oh,
So I
sure.
think the elevation itself starting was high. I couldn't give you a number because I don't know, but I definitely was like, like my
Did you feel
breathing and
it?
stuff. I could feel it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
I could
because
feel my red blood cells parting, sweating. Yeah, yeah.
well, if we hadn't said it already, we live in Boise, Idaho, right? And that's the elevation here is around 2,700 feet. And so yeah, some of these places you can double that pretty easy up to,
Yeah.
5, 6, 7,000 feet in the you know this side of the country, especially in the Rocky Mountains, right? So
Yep. Yep. And I
yeah,
definitely
and
didn't
that's
even think about that when I was like, oh yeah, all 50 states. Okay, what? Now I have to train, I guess, for the different climates.
well, you should put Leadville on your that Leadville Ultra. Do you know about that one?
The uh-uh.
It's in Leadville, Colorado, and it's 11,000 something feet is the base, and they climb from there. So that race is, I
Oh,
want to say I think it's a 24-hour race, and they go around the clock, but they're between like 11,500 feet
oh
up to
my
I think
word.
13,500. So it's
I
for real. It's a tough
yeah.
one.
I'll
I
add
only
it to
say
the
that
list.
from yeah, there you go. That'd be
Yeah.
cool. Your Colorado Leadville.
Yep. Bummer. I've already done one in Colorado. Sad.
Oh shucks, that one's off the list. No Leadville
Yeah.
for you.
Man.
Shoot. Well, what's so we mentioned briefly that the amount of training you have to do to just to stay in tip-top condition, right? Because you don't always get to just pick the dates when these races take place. They are when they are, right? So
Yeah.
what gets you up every day and keeps you training?
The money I spent on the race. But kind of. That and I probably part of my childhood watching my parents train and run, and then they trained and ran the Chicago Marathon, and just that was their lifestyle, was eating right and Saturday long runs and bringing other people alongside them to run with them and stuff. And so that one, I guess, was implemented into me at a pretty young age while I was watching kiddos on Saturday mornings, for the long runs. But um, that and just the healthy lifestyle of it gets my butt moving if I have a goal that I want to reach. And so getting my rear end in gear of just first of all, you paid for this race. Second of all, the travel for it. But then third of all, I want to compete when I actually run it. I don't want to just complete the race and oh yay, a 40-minute 5K, might as well, check. No, that's
Hey,
not.
that's my 5K time. Take it easy.
I highly doubt that. Highly doubt that. Um,
Right
uh,
now, it's probably not far off though.
I also doubt that. Um, but just I guess I would not. I don't want to walk my races because I'm out of shape. You know what I mean? I want to
Yeah.
compete and try and get first in my age group. Or there was one. It's not really a bragging right, but I did a race in El Dorado, Kansas, and then I ended up getting first female. I think I was third overall and first female that
Shoot.
crossed the finish line. And so it just stuff like that like keeps me motivated to continue. Where yeah, I've been running since like competitively, I guess you could say, of like running all the time since like 2019, and just it gets hard after a while, or like why am I still doing this?
Being able to complete the climb to mastery requires the proper nutrition. This is why it's important to take in a potent blend of electrolytes that is in tune with your output and brings strength to your goals. This potent blend is only found in salt electrolytes. Salt targets your depleted electrolyte levels with a boost of hydration and health. It gives your body the baseline recovery it needs.
Well, I like that you mentioned the part of the motivation that you experience is through your the fees you've paid, the entry fees and the plane ticket and stuff you bought. Because I talk about that a little bit, because that's a real thing that I think people can discount a lot, is the motivation that comes when you have some skin in the game.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So I'm doing a triathlon next month and just something different, something fun. Might as well. Why not? Um, but those races are like so expensive, close to
Yeah,
200, and the higher the mileage, I guess you could say, the higher the fee is for it. Some of the little races in like small town. I'm doing one in like I think it's Virginia, but it's like a teeny tiny town in Virginia, and so those are like 20, 30, $40 with tax or whatever. But I was thinking about it and like all told, the amount of money I've spent, that's actually a good old chunk of money.
that's a chunk of change. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. But then also, yeah, the triathlon I think was almost, yeah, it was like almost $200 of just, and that is, like you said, skin in the game. Whereas like, okay, it's more, I don't want to just, like I said earlier, I don't want to just go and complete it. I want to actually compete for it because of the hard-earned money that I put into it. Some days I'm like, wow, Kayla, good job. I'm proud of you. And other days I'm like, why are you spending hundreds of dollars to go and do this? You should really pick up knitting or something.
well, I tell you, I think you're going to look back in life later and be glad you took the time, and because that's an experience that you're in the season of life right now where you can do it,
Yeah,
and that will change, right?
yeah,
It'll be
yeah,
much more difficult.
correct. Yes.
Um,
Yep.
so, in your life, who's influenced you the most?
Um, Jesus. But as far as a person goes, probably my father, my
Yeah,
dad. Um, Watching him train the weekends, Saturday morning runs. But then also, when I first started it, he got his degree here, his master's, going full circle, in kinesiology. And so he knows the human body and had his own business with working with the body and posture alignment and stuff. And when I told him I was getting into running because it was free and I was in college and stopped playing collegiate volleyball, so I was getting chunky. I was like, I need the lifestyle again, and so he came up with workouts. He was there every morning, like, hey, nope, do this differently, or change your hands on this one because you're gonna hurt yourself. And all right, here's your long run. See you in a few hours, stuff like that. Where it's like
so
he's
he made a
always,
recipe for you, huh?
oh yes, yes. I definitely would not be here today if it wasn't for my father. Well, both
Well, that's
physically and
literally right.
literally, yeah.
Oh man. Through this whole thing, do you have a standout, like the greatest learning experience you've ever had?
Yeah, sometimes I bite off way more than I can chew, and I don't realize it till later. And this is probably one of those. But I have learned so much, either from like uh, traveling safely, or biggest bang for my buck, or packing peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for the airport instead of a $20 hamburger, um, or guess what? This nutrition pack didn't work for me, so now I'm trying this one. I have learned a lot, a lot. It's probably just tiny little things that have all accumulated, It's not like oh, epiphany, but just a lot of small learning things that have helped shape literally and grow me who I am today. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome to hear, because I think, yeah, you can cut your cost dramatically by with the peanut butter sandwich. That's actually a really good fuel source for these endurance events, isn't it?
Yeah, that's nice.
Um, So with the with on this podcast, we call it the Go Earn Your Salt podcast, right? And you hear that phrase, "Go earn your salt." When you hear that, what comes to mind?
Sweat circles. Sweat
Oh
circles.
my gosh.
Where
I
you
should try to find
go,
that picture and see if I can post that in this episode. I don't know if I still even have that picture, but
dude. I
that's
know.
legit.
It was a good picture too. It like very pronouncedly showed. It was like literally I just kind of I remember like looking at it and you guys just all laughing and stuff and I was like, how is that possible? I was
Well,
so confused.
the funny thing is I didn't even notice those forming. I just ran the whole thing. I was just running, having a good time.
Good to
Got
do.
back and somebody else pointed them out. Like they were like this long. I mean, they came clear down my almost touched my shirt.
Yeah. Oh
Wow.
man. But yeah, the term go earn your salt, it's not how are you gonna earn it if you don't go? I guess that was like redundant. But um yeah, I definitely think of it more of like sweat, you're salty when you're sweating, but you got to go earn it, you know, as far as runs or exercise or disciplining your body or stretching. That's something I've learned also.
I like what you're saying because you're my next question actually, what advice would you give other listeners to help them go and earn their salt, right? But you're doing that right now. You're saying, between the stretching and just the, getting off your butt and getting out there and doing it. Um, the the go part is probably the most significant part of that a lot of people don't do. They've got ideas and they kind of do stuff once in a while, but there's that like consistency of getting up and getting after it. And I hear I hear you saying that.
Yeah. There is a difference between traveling to Colorado and doing the race that I wanted to do and then coming back home and yay, I earned it. Then the hours and hours and hours and hours of running, of training, of sprint workouts, of weight training, of stretching, of moving your body before then that you've actually, guess what? I went to Colorado and I earned this state and I have earned the sweat and blood when I tripped, over a rock, that I put into it. It's
Yeah.
it's a different. There's just it's a different type of yeah. Yeah. That's what I think of. You're earning it before you actually achieve it.
Yeah, and the crowd doesn't follow you when you're earning it, do they? That
No.
shows up. That shows up only on race day.
Mhm. Yep.
And even then, race day crowds are kind of lame, huh? Most of them don't know who you are, so you only got a couple people out there cheering for you. Even then,
Yep. I did a race in Hillsboro, New Hampshire. That's where I did the race, and it was definitely a small town, and like this person so and so's from Hillsboro, and so and so's from over the hill over on this side, and Makayla Martinez, Meridian, Idaho. It was like where they're
Murden.
calling
They say,
out
say
people. Yeah,
Murden.
Meridian, Idaho. Just people running through the finish line. They read the bib and call out the name and stuff, and it just is like, yeah, either the crowd's super small or nobody knows actually where Idaho is, and so
Yeah.
it's
Do you ever
different.
get
Yeah.
people when you tell them you're traveling and you tell them you're from Idaho and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's up by the Great Lakes, right?"
Yep. Like, oh
Nope.
yeah, I know Ohio. Yeah. Yeah, you're not even close, man. Sorry.
Yeah, not even close, man.
Yeah.
The same thing.
With the potatoes.
Okay. All right. So let's switch gears a little bit. I've got some kind of lighter questions to ask you that are just, it's a little bit like a lightning round. It'll just be just
All right.
some fun questions. Okay.
Okay.
Tell me this favorite pastime.
Favorite pastime? Playing volleyball.
It's volleyball still, huh? We
Volleyball
didn't even
still.
talk about your volleyball career. That was a
I
big part
st
of your life that we didn't talk about.
Yeah. Speaking of like that's probably what started my lifestyle of or me wanting to maintain my lifestyle of health and happy and stuff. I love it.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. So on your travels, what's been the best meal you've ever had while you've been out?
The race after Montana in 2020, we went to a hamburger joint and the hamburger lasted about 30 seconds.
It was a good one, huh?
It was a good one. I still, yeah, race, Montana, March 2020. I couldn't even tell you where it was, but it was a hamburger afterwards, and I just mowed it. There's something about a hamburger after you run, like a race, even long distance. I'm just like, come to mama.
That's a, the best recovery food ever.
That is one of the things I was planning on saying, so I'm just going to say it, is through the years that I have been training and running and nutrition and what works for me and what doesn't, what worked for my parents but doesn't work for me, and figuring that all out with protein and so much that I have learned is electrolytes. Some are extremely sweet, some are like I feel like I'm drinking Himalayan sea salt. And I'm not trying to toot your horn, but salt is what I use. When I did the races in one weekend and stuff, that was they're like my trophy salts where they sit high on my shelf for after long runs or after
It's like
like
high
in
on my
between
shelves too. See,
races.
I got like
Correct.
about how my
Oh
head.
wow, looky there. Looky there.
Actually on my shelf.
Actually on yourself. Yeah, nice. Um, yeah, but I definitely it treats my body better than all of the others that I've tried. So
I don't know if you remember in the development of that, but do you remember when we used to run, we used to deal with certain products that and you probably deal with this too, but you take like an energy gel or a sports drink or something and it leaves that icky film in your mouth.
hmm.
And we worked hard to make sure salt didn't do that. That's
Yes.
nasty.
Yep. Yep. And I would say it doesn't,
Yeah.
honestly, if I'm being very
Yeah.
candid. I'm not trying to toot your horn, but yes, it doesn't.
Have you ever been in a fight?
Physically,
Yeah.
yes.
Do tell.
For work. For work. uh, well, 2 days ago, I
Oh
was,
crap. We almost got you with a black eye on here, huh?
yeah, that would have been embarrassing. Okay. 2 days ago, yeah, doing, working. Somebody was hiding in a closet. He came out at gunpoint. Uh, and then he decided that he got mad at mom because mom told us he was in the house. And then me and my coworker fought him, and we gently assisted him to the floor, um, where he was then shortly compliant afterwards.
I love how gentle you are
Uh,
about it.
yeah, it's my diplomatic answer. When in reality, it
That's
was
your
super
different.
cool, and we had people come and lights and sirens to come help us, and there was four other adults in the home that weren't too happy that we were helping brother get safely into handcuffs. And
Help him be compliant. Yes.
correct. Yes,
Does
yes.
I love it. Does you did a little bit of jujitsu, right? Do you use the stuff you learned there in those situations?
Actually, yes, I would say yes. A blanketed yes. It helps a lot. It goes through my brain quickly when I am going hands on and trying to gain compliance of somebody. Um, but also it's different because the people I roll with on the mat, or the people that I did roll with on the mat, they work with you, going through the steps and the here, let's do this next time, or they stop and take a break, or just because they're a big strong dude, they don't just muscle through it, with me at least. They just, look, you can move your pinky this way and you're sideways. um,
Yeah.
but it's definitely different. Like the guy 2 days ago, he was all sorts of strung out, and it's just different when drugs are involved, and we call it like the meth strength, but just the it's just different. It's not a moldy, squirmy body that you're trying to roll with. I don't know. I can't explain. Just tense and just I'm not, I don't know. I don't know. It's just different. That probably didn't
Yeah.
make any sense, but
No, I hear that a lot because you've got a lot of times when somebody is fighting, especially if it's in a friendly time, and you know that the pace is different.
yes,
If it's
yes, yes.
unfriendly, the pace is they're frantic, but they're also drug induced. They're not feeling normal pain sensations that would stop them from doing certain movements.
Correct.
They'll push right through it and injure themselves just because they're not going to feel it till later, right?
That's actually great nutshelling. Yes, exactly that.
So
Yes.
okay, scariest moment of your life.
Scariest moment of my life when I thought I was lactose intolerant and I couldn't eat ice cream anymore.
Ooh.
I'm just kidding. That one was it's definitely up there. Scariest moment of my life, also work related. Could have gotten shot in the face, but didn't.
Oh, I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah, me too.
Holy cow.
I like my face the way it is sometimes.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, this video would look way different if you had,
It
you
would.
know,
That'd be a
a
lot of
gap in the
editing.
middle of your
Yeah.
face.
A lot
Oh
of
my
editing.
gosh.
Yeah.
Um, can you talk about that? Is that something you're willing to talk about?
Um, yeah, a few years ago, go into this house again, and somebody runs to the back bedroom, and there's a lot of people. It was just chaos. We literally walked into a drug deal, and instead of the loaded extended mag Glock that was on the bed, he grabbed the drugs and left in a hurry without us being able to stop him. So I think it wasn't like he picked up the gun and shoved it in my face, but it definitely was the thought of we didn't chase him in there because we were dealing with the child he ran over and the mom that was screaming and four other people that were in the tiny little residence
It was that
around him.
realization later that
Yeah,
it could have been the gun that he could have grabbed instead.
100%. Yep, yep. I
Yeah.
think I was like maybe 2 years on the job. I was with somebody who was got hired after me. It just was a lot of like new experiences, I guess you could say. And so we definitely didn't control the situation as we should have, and we know that now. But just I guess the realization afterwards of, oh wow, there was a gun where he was bending down to,
Well, part of it is the stupidity of the bad guys was on your side that day, huh?
yes, yes. And
Yeah.
apparently, yeah, the drugs were more important. So I appreciate that actually.
And you say he ran over a child?
Yeah, so he ran over the kid, not with a car, but with his body.
Okay, that's
And
what
then,
I was curious
sorry,
about, but no regard for the child anyways. He
correct.
just gonna go full linebacker.
Bastards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bastards. Yeah. We
Yeah.
found, yeah, we literally interrupted the drug deal. Like, first time I've ever seen $30,000 in cash, and it was crazy. It was crazy.
Cute. Yeah, that's for real. On a lighter note, what is your just fondest memory in life?
Oh man, fondest memory. Dinner around a very cramped table at Grandma and Grandpa's little farmhouse in Adrian, Missouri, with all of the family and everybody's happy and pies.
You know, it's funny because those events don't come around very often, do they?
Nope,
Yeah.
nope,
Gosh.
not anymore.
What bucket list challenges there? I mean, you've already got this 50 state thing going, but what's another bucket list challenge you have that you want to do in the future?
Oh man, um, short little ones. Like there's a place, Blue Heart Springs. I think it's in Twin Falls. I want to go paddleboarding there. I would love to go to
You should
Scotland.
go do that with Riley and Lindsay. That would be fun.
Really? You think so? Okay,
Yeah.
I'll
They've
ask
got the
them.
kayaks. We've been wanting to do that too, so.
Seriously? Let's do
Yeah.
that. That's been literally years of my life that I'm like, Blue Heart Springs, Blue Heart Springs. I gotta get out there. I got a paddleboard. Well, kayak and paddleboard. Perfect.
That'd be perfect.
Yep, I'll ask them. Um, just little things like that. I guess my main one is the 50 state one, but
Try to
becoming
Christian.
a mature adult being, I guess that
Don't do
is.
that.
No.
Don't ever do that. That's no fun.
I'll take some time
What's a
off
book?
then.
What's a book you would recommend everyone read?
The Bible. It's a good one. Yeah, everybody. Um, I'm not I'm not that into reading for Money Makeover. That's also a good one. Um,
Is that
I'm
Ramsey's? Is that
reading,
what you're?
yeah, yeah. I'm reading a swimming book, How to Swim for Dummies. It's also a good one. Should you want to do a triathlon and don't know how to swim? So,
So check this out. There's one, the Total Immersion book.
oh
That
yeah,
one's amazing.
that's the one I am reading. It's not How to Swim for Dummies.
Yeah,
Full, I think
that book
that.
changed my swimming abilities in a big way. It
Does it go
turned
through the
out when I did a
steps?
triathlon a few years ago, I was actually pretty fast in the swim, but it was also my easiest event because of that. Yeah, that's a game changer for sure. That's helps you be really efficient.
Does it go through like the steps? They have different drills of swimming.
Yeah, yeah, it has some drills in it. It has a lot of technical knowledge, and then I think there's some videos too you can go watch on the YouTubes that have a lot of instructional on how that works.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I think it's in my nightstand.
Well, I sure appreciate you coming on. Yep, we're getting close to that hour now, and I told you about an hour, and so I want to respect that.
Oh, you're good.
But Makayla, I appreciate you coming on. Go out
Thanks
there and
for
earn your
having
salt,
me.
okay?
I will
Awesome.
try.
You rock. We'll talk to you again soon.
Okay, sounds good.
Hey, you've just finished up this episode, and I've got to know, do you know someone who's a getting after it kind of person? Someone who is earning their salt every day? If so, I would like to have them on the show. So have them message me directly at the Go Earn Your Salt podcast on Instagram. Let's see if we can get them on the show. Have a great day. You know what to do. Go earn your salt.